Hey, what's up, sports bettors? Matt Modi with OddsJam. What we're going to do in this video, I have my MLB player prop of the day for you guys. My favorite MLB player prop found using the OddsJam positive expected value page, confirmed using the OddsJam props app. This app is a couple weeks old now. It's called OddsJam Props. It's available free of download at any iOS store, so Mac, iPhone, iPad, even Mac desktop, it works, which is what I'm using it on. The OddsJam Props app, it just gives you player historical data so you can kind of look at how a player is performing recently. So if I just want to type in like someone on the Phillies, which I'm a fan of, Rhys Hoskins, let's see how he's performing recently, total bases. I can see he's gone over 1.5 total bases in 39 of 96 games, which is at a 40, about 40% rate. I can look at last 25, last 10, last 5, and you can see all of this information, which is really cool. So I found a play on the OddsJam positive EV page that I really, really like. And what we're looking at here is the Jose Urquidy under 4.5 strikeouts. So the odds on this one are on FanDuel at minus 106. The OddsJam line, which everybody knows is pulled from the sharpest sportsbook in the world in terms of pricing odds, prices this at minus 135, with the VIG removed, priced at minus 116, and only 33 cents in market width. So all in all, from a math perspective, everything checks out. The market width, for those of you who haven't caught that on the video that I've talked about recently, this is a way in which we can measure confidence in what lines are being priced at. So the closer that the two numbers of the OddsJam line are together, the more confident that they are in the line, right? If they're more confident, they're going to price them closer together. They're not going to charge as heavy as a juice. And in this case, for player props, anything that is 35 or 40 and below is perfectly within range for a player prop that I think is really valuable. So that's what I ended up putting it on. Or excuse me, that's why I ended up liking this play. 33 cents in market width is good to go. So in terms of unit sizing, I'm going to round this one down to about a 2-unit play. Go ahead and lock this one in. And then not my free bet. I'll use my free bet on something else. Lock it in and place bet. So let's chat about it. So I've kind of gone over the high level math about this play, right? The OddsJam line, as everybody knows, is pulled from the most accurate sportsbook in the world. So what this OddsJam line does, they accept sharp action. They literally brand themselves as winners welcome. They want people that are sharp using their site. That's kind of their marketing tactic. So they accept a lot of money, they accept sharp action, and they accept it across a wide array of countries. So generally, this is going to be the most efficient betting market. So anywhere in which we're getting better odds, but we have to remove the VIG first. So the VIG, as I'm sure everybody is aware of, is just the juice that sportsbooks price odds. Another way to think about it, so if we go to NoVig Fair Odds Calculator, you can calculate the NoVig odds there as well. So it was plus 102, minus 135, I believe. Yeah, minus 135. So again, we see the true line of plus and minus 116. An example they give here is for a standard minus 110 play. This is what you'll see on most spreads, minus 110 each way. So basically that means if I bet $100 at those odds at minus 110, I could figure to profit $90 if my bet wins. If my bet loses, then I would lose all 100. And that $10 gap, that is what's known as the VIG or the juice. And that's how sportsbooks make their money. So removing the VIG and getting the true line is incredibly important. And as you can see, this bet has about a 53.7% chance of hitting based on the no VIG odds, 53.71%. Also, if you click this calculator here, it'll give you that same percentage, the win percentage. I find this really interesting, maybe because I'm just a math nerd, but when sportsbooks are pricing odds, basically what they're doing is they are giving a percent chance of what they think that bet is of occurring, and then they'll back those numbers in, to odds. So if I go to the odds converter calculator, which is right here, and I type in the odds that I'm betting it at, which in this case are minus 106, we see that equates to a win percentage of like 51.55%. So that gap between 53.71 and 51.55 is another way of viewing positive expected value. Basically, if we're just looking at this, we're betting on a play that we know based on the OddsJam line hits at over a 53% rate. But we're betting it at odds that only need to hit 51.55% of the time in order to profit. So that gap is positive expected value and how you can be profitable in the long run. We're placing bets that we know have a better chance of occurring than the implied odds of what we are betting it at. And that probability gap is another way of viewing positive expected value. So in this case, the positive EV equates to about 4.39%. This can also be viewed as your profit margin or your percent edge over the sportsbook. This number means that for every $100 bet on this play, you could figure to profit, in this case, $4.39. So I did put $100 on this one. So that is my profit in terms of actual dollars on this one. And I don't want to get totally discouraged, as my dog is in the background. With these lower numbers, a couple of reasons why. Number one, it's just one bet. So I'm placing, I don't know, anywhere between 5 and 7 MLB bets a day. And some of you might even have placed more bets with a bigger bankroll. So that $4.40 turns into $50 a day, $100 a day. And that's just one day. So you multiply that out by 7 weeks, by 7 days in a week, 30 days in a month. And you kind of start to understand just how profitable you can be in the long run with positive expected value betting. So all in all, this checks out from a math perspective. Of course, I knew that because it's on the positive EV page, but now you kind of understand the logic behind everything. So another thing that I like to look at is the OddsJam props app, which I just talked about. So the play here is Jose Urquidy. I always butcher that guy's name. I don't want to totally mess it up. But let's see how he's performing. So in this case, we're betting on him to go under his strikeouts, under 4.5. So it looks like he's hit this in 12 of his 18 starts, which is about a 66% rate, which has an implied odds of about minus 200. In his last 10, he's gone under this amount in 6 of 10. And his last 5, he has in 3 of 5. So no matter how you kind of stretch this out, no matter how you slice it, he consistently trends below this amount. On the season as a whole, in the last 10, in the last 5, no matter what, he's consistently trending below 4.5 strikeouts thrown. So it's a positive expected value play that we know the OddsJam line prices it at minus 116 with about a 53% win percentage. And it looks like, that he hits this at about, like a 60, he goes under at about a 60% clip pretty much across the board. So that another kind of check in our toolbox in terms of this being a good play. The next thing that I like to do is just a minor bit of handicapping. I just kind of want to see where things look from a handicapping perspective. I won't necessarily talk me into a bet. Sometimes it'll talk me out of it, but normally I just kind of trust the math. But he's going against the Mariners. If you look up the Mariners' strikeout percentage against right-handed pitchers, they're kind of towards the middle. I think they strike out at like the 13th or 14th highest rate against right-handed pitchers. So they're certainly not among the teams that strike out the least. They're also not among the teams that strike out the most. And here's another way of looking at it. I just have the pitching stats up on MLB.com. Looks like they have the 11th most strikeouts versus right-handed pitchers. Granted, this isn't the perfect stat because this is just giving totals. So it's not giving it per game. So it also depends on the at-bats. But just kind of looking at things from a holistic perspective, the Mariners, like I said, strike out at about a pretty much average rate. So if it's positive EV and the player consistently trends striking out below this number against a team that's kind of middle in the pack in terms of striking out, all in all, that kind of checks out in my book. So that's why I ended up putting 2 units on this one. I put $100, and I definitely recommend tailing this one. If you do, let me know. I would love to hear it. But definitely check out the OddsJam Props app. Like I said, completely free to download on any iOS platform, Mac, iPad, iPhone, regardless. Check it out. But that's going to be it. So I appreciate you guys watching, and have a good one.